We are doing exercise 7a, and in this video I'll be answering question 5f, which says, for y equals f of x equals x squared, sketch the graph of each of the following, labeling axis intercepts. And here we have y equals f of x minus 5 minus 1. And as you can see, I've broken this down into a few steps. We will first find out what my newly transformed rule is. We will then find the x-intercept, then the y-intercept, and then we'll give it a sketch. And as you can already see, I've already sketched in y equals x squared. And the reason why I've done that is because they've told us in the question that y equals f of x equals x squared. Perfect. We are then told that y equals this, so let me now write that down. Y equals f of x minus 5 minus 1. All right. Well, as you can see here, when I had f of x, I had x squared. So now that I have f of x minus 5, instead of an x here, it will be x minus 5, and it will be squared. And then I will have a minus 1 here. So what I'll be trying to sketch now is y equals x minus 5 squared minus 1. Now, hopefully, just by looking at this, you can tell what the transformations will be. I'm going to have a translation of 5 in the positive x direction and a translation of 1 in the negative y direction. So I'm going to grab my graph and I'm going to move it 5 in the positive x direction. And let's say that's 5 there. And then I'm going to move it 1 in the negative y direction. So let's say that's 1 there. Perfect. So this is what my newly transformed graph will be. No longer is it y equals x squared, it is now this. So I'll come get this, and I'll make sure I put my rule in like that. Perfect. I now need to figure out what my x-intercept will be. So I begin by writing down what I know, which is that y equals x minus 5 squared minus 1. To find my x-intercept, I let y equal 0, so I get rid of that, and I have 0 there. I now am going to rearrange to solve for x. I will plus 1 to both sides. 1 equals x minus 5 squared. I now want to get rid of this square root. I now want to get rid of this square, so I will square root it. So I'm going to get plus or minus the square root of 1 equals x minus 5. And then the square root of 1 is just 1, so I'm going to get plus or minus 1 equals x minus 5. And then finally, I'm going to plus 5 to both sides. So I'm going to get 5 plus or minus 1 equals x. So as you can see, I'm going to have two x-intercepts when I have a plus and then the other one when I have a minus. So if it's 5 plus 1, it will be 6. So it will be over here. And I can say that this will be 6, 0. And then the other one will be when it's 5 minus 1, which will be 4. So here will be 4, 0. So I have 6, 0 and 4, 0 as my two x-intercepts. Let me now find my y-intercept. So I begin by writing down what I know, which is that y equals x minus 5 squared minus 1. To find my y-intercept, I let x equal 0. So I come here, I get my x, and I let it equal to 0. I then go y equals minus 5 squared is 25 minus 1. So y will equal 24. So that means my y-intercept will be 24. So I come over here and I say this is my y-intercept. It will be 0, 24. So I have my y-intercept, I have my x-intercepts, and I have my newly transformed graph. Hopefully all this made sense and enabled you to answer question 5F of exercise 7a.